Okay, another Josh cast. I'm going to try something this time. I'm going to try... Not going to try. I'm going to do this while not driving. I'm going to do this while staying stationary. And the reason is I want to focus 100% of my attention on running a podcast that will get 8 to 15 listeners. We had a slight spike, 15, and that could be from the virus. That means that there was 7 more people on Earth who had nothing else to do but listen to this. I was inspired by a documentary on Miles Davis and jazz and the idea of improvisation. And I said to myself, I'm going to go in the car right now and record a podcast and just totally improvise and riff and trust, man, that the humor, man, that the jokes will find me. That even if, I love this quote that Miles Davis said, if you hit one wrong note, the next note will correct it. Like, why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? That was no point in doing that joke. I didn't even write that joke, but I can trust that the next joke, whatever the next joke is going to correct that first joke. Yeah, maybe stand-up comedy doesn't work that's the same way. It might, though. Why was it only one chicken? Timothy, yes, where are you going? I'm crossing the road. Timothy, we've talked about this. There's nothing out there. There's got to be more than this chicken coop, Sandra. There's got to be more. Timothy, I told you, there is nothing out there. There's nothing out there except death and I mean, it really, death was the only thing I could think of at the moment. It's just, there's nothing out there but death. I don't want you to go out there. I love you, Timothy. You are my rooster. Oh, you say that about every rooster. That's not true. That is not true, okay? Jeffrey and I, it didn't mean anything, Timothy. It didn't mean anything. There are people in the park as I'm recording this. I'm watching what they are doing. Can I say, by the way, that in the spring I tend to get hornier. Let's just go there. And, in the past, it's like there's nothing I could do about it, and there's nothing I could do about it now. But, and can I also say, by the way, that I didn't lose my virginity until I was 32, lost it in 2014. I'm glad I got in under the wire here. Who knew that I got to have an experience right before we had to shut off all social contact. Here's my other thought. What if we all get used to living like this? And this becomes not only the new normal, but the preferred existence. And then, what if, after that, there's another catastrophe of some kind, and the only way that we can survive is by being in large groups, shoved together in close quarters for extended periods of time. I think that's what's going to happen, because that's how the world seems to work. It was also odd because I was having this existential crisis a few months ago where I was thinking, I want to do stand-up, but I hate traveling. And I feel like God said, well, I can fix that for you. Why didn't you say so sooner? Have I got the solution for you? Yeah, yeah. So that thought occurred to me. How's the improvisation going, Josh? Be quiet. All right, be quiet, Linda. I've got this. The other issue is that the car is hot, but I don't want to turn on the AC. We must conserve our resources because we don't know how much longer we're going to have them. We must do everything we can to ameliorate this situation. And that may mean for some of us making sacrifices we don't want to make. Alexander has volunteered to cut off his legs. No, I didn't. Thank you, Alexander, for volunteering to do this. I didn't volunteer to... How would cutting off my legs help with this virus situation? Alexander is a man who liked to take walks, and look what he is willing to do for the greater good. I don't know what's going on here. Alexander is a hero, and I weep for him, for the sacrifice, not only his legs, but shortly thereafter his life. No, I'm not doing that. I think I'm gonna leave now. Grab him! Don't let him get away! Wait! It is oddly serene what's going on right now. I feel really serene. I mean, in a weird way, it's, I was listening to Bill Burr's podcast, and he was talking about how, hey, you're miserable now, you're miserable before. Maybe, take this opportunity to look in the mirror and figure out what your problem is. And that's, and he was right. I was miserable before, and I'm learning what who I am and what matters and what doesn't matter and what I want to be. And I'm also learning to maybe, take it a bit more a day at a time, because we don't know we don't know if this is going to be over in a week, in a month, in a year. Life has become improvisation, man. Life has become jazz. I'd like to apologize for what I just said and how I said it. I should not be talking like that. But I'm watching this mother play with her kids, toddlers. They're kids. This is going to be their childhood. This is going to be normal. A year from now, they're like, what do you mean we have to be around other kids? In a crowded room? What is this? Why? Why would you do that to us? These could be... By the way, all the schools are... High school, middle school and high school was horrible. You're putting a bunch of crazy people in a cramped space. It could entirely be true that by forcing all the kids to be at home, this could be the most well-adjusted kids, the most emotionally stable children that have ever come out of this country. Now, as I say that, I also am reminded of the jokes about all the kids who are homeschooled and how weird they are. Well, now, weird is going to be the new normal. That's going to be, whatever that is, that's going to be the new normal. And anyone who was, went to school in a crowded school, we're the weirdos now. With all of our social hang-ups and our constant concern that we're being watched and judged. This is going to lead to, hopefully, more people expressing who they are and not being afraid of being judged. Which can only mean one thing. A lot more really, really bad artistic projects are going to go out there. Like this podcast. This guy wearing cleaning gloves. Protecting himself with cleaning gloves. Green gloves. Touching everything, playing with a ball in the fields. Wearing green gloves. Everyone looks like a hypochondriac now. The car in front of me is a Kia Soul. That's a pretty ballsy name for a car. Now that I think about it. Gentlemen, we have a new kind of car. We call it the Soul. That's pretty spiritual. Yes, it is. We think it'll sell a lot better than our other car, the Talmud, which some of the Orthodox Jews got behind it, but most people just didn't want to go in there. You can't. I mean, you can only bring kosher products into the car, so that's any meat lovers had a problem with that. Anyone who liked to eat ham couldn't drive it. The Kia Talmud, it didn't fly. It didn't fly. There's a tree in my neighbor's yard, a giant tree. Is it my neighbor's yard? I'm renting a tiny property in a garage in front of behind a house. So I feel like it's my landlord's neighbor's yard. That's more appropriate. It's not my neighbor. And the tree, it looks dead, but it's sprouting all these new leaves. It looks like a tree that should be in a Guillermo del Toro movie that takes place somewhere on some kind of desert hellscape. Bunch of kids coming on their bikes, surrounded by mom. Families trying to make the best of it. Guy in his shorts, exercising. I find him attractive. Did I mention I might be bisexual? I think we've gone past might. Bisexuality. I talk about it, then I stop talking about it, then I talk about it again. It's odd. I feel like I go through phases where I notice it and then it just seems to recede, and then it's more heterosexual. This is the definition of sexual fluidity. It changes with the rising and the ebbing of the tide. That is why I'm so proud of Alexander, who came out as bisexual. I didn't come out. I'm heterosexual. Not that there's anything, again, I'm about to quote Seinfeld here. To quote Seinfeld, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm not bisexual. I'm heterosexual, and I'm not cutting off my legs. Alexander lived as he died. A true hero. I'm still here. Why am I still even in the room? I just feel like the record should be... I want to set the record straight here. Oh, it has been 6 long months since Alexander has graced the stage. One of the girls playing has a backpack. The whole kid's backpack thing. Putting Spider-Man on the backpack, putting My Little Pony on the backpack. I look back on that. I don't think that helped. I don't think I ever had that kind of stuff. Yeah, I didn't do, like, I was big on, like, I wanted to play with the Enterprise. I didn't want the Enterprise on a backpack. That never did it for me. The Enterprise on the backpack. I wasn't into that. And I kind of feel the same way about tattoos. It's just, all right, a picture of something on something else. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. But then again, maybe I just need to have more fun with it. Maybe I need to come up with backpacks with people on it that would inspire me. I want an Alan Alda backpack. Just a backpack with Alan Alda on it. Is that the guy from MASH? Yeah. Neat. Yeah. Why that backpack? I admire him. He's a good actor. He's really big into science and computers. A role model. Alan Alda. Has had a terrific career. I want that backpack. I would want to name a fictional starship in the world of Star Trek the USS Alan Alda. Why not? Why does it have to be a famous warrior or an inspirational word like Discovery? Captain's log, Stardate 265, Mark 427. We've just now taken command of the USS Jason Alexander. It's a stalwart ship, famous for 7 years, then went on to do passion projects. All right, let's not dig on Jason Alexander here. All right, let's not make this about trashing Jason Alexander. I'm a huge fan of Jason Alexander. He's a consummate professional. Let's not hit below the belt. But would naming ships like that in the world of Star Trek take the drama out of it? Just a little bit. Captain, the Ted Danson has been damaged. Like, I want the ships, though, to be named after TV stars. Like, not even, not like the Brando, not like massive icons. I want them to be named after TV supporting character actors. That's what I want. Captain, the starship Nathan Fillion. She's out of control. It's been 10 days. No sign of the USS Kathy Griffin. Like in the Babylon 5 series, all the ships were named after like ancient Roman, ancient Greek, I think even Mesopotamian mythical figures like the Agamemnon. But what about the mythical figures of the 20th century? What about those people? What about those mythical figures? I'm captain of the starship The Beatles. I think that's my favorite right there. Welcome aboard the USS The Beatles. Shouldn't we at least call it the USS John Lennon? No! They all made a contribution. They all need to be remembered. Welcome to the USS The Beatles. And her sister ship, the USS The Rolling Stones. The mamas and the papas have taken damage, Captain. But the question is, who am I in all this? Who am I really? When you strip away who I am, what do we come with? What's the essence of it? The essence is, I just want to make people laugh. That's all I want to do. That's what I was meant to do. That's what I enjoy doing. I just want to make people laugh. That's all I ask. To make people laugh. That's all I want to do, is make people laugh. What's happening to him? I don't know. He's transforming into something. I just want to make people laugh. My God, he's turned into Donald Duck. How did that happen? I don't know. How did that happen? We just saw him turn into Donald Duck. We'll need to study this. We'll need to take samples. Do you think it's contagious? I don't know. I don't know if it's contagious or not, but I'll tell you something right now. I don't like it. I recommend we evacuate all non-essential personnel to the USS David Boreanaz. Oh, God. Well, if I make myself laugh, does that count? It's kind of like if a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it. Does this count? Does this count as comedy? I don't know. I think it's been about 20 minutes. That feels right. This feels about right. I don't know what this feels. Silliness. That's what this feels like.